All right, welcome back to Tips for Tuesdays. This week we're going to go over some kettlebell progressions. For this week's episode, we're going to cover the kettlebell snatch. Some previous episodes we covered the kettlebell swing, so the Russian swing and the American swing. Today we're going to take the kettlebell with one arm, go overhead with it in a snatch position. All right, so I don't like one arm swings going overhead, right? We don't want to do that. That's not a good position for you to be in. You want to have control of the kettlebell. And you don't do that with swings. You do that with a snatch of the kettlebell, or you do that with a clean and then a jerk or a press overhead. Those are the only two ways I really like to go overhead with the kettlebell. Again, unless it's Turkish get-ups, windmills, there's a couple other variations, but you don't want to do a one-arm swing overhead. All right, so the variations or the progressions to get into the one-arm snatch that I like to coach up is getting into a one-arm swing first. All right, so we're going to coach up the one-arm swing. You're going to come in and set up just like you would on a regular kettlebell swing, only you're grabbing it with one arm. All right, so good body position here. You're going to hike it back, and then you're going to snap it up, right? And you're going to come up and bring the kettlebell to about eye level. All right, and it should meet the eyes right when you hit full hip and knee extension. So right when I get into my hip and knee extension, the kettlebell should become about parallel to the ground or hit my eye level. All right, so it'll look something like this. Okay, a couple things here. You want to make sure your arm and shoulders are relaxed. All the motion of the kettlebell is being generated through the hips. So you should have, it should be such that you can release the grip on the kettlebell because you're using force and generating force and speed through the hips. You're not using your arm to bring the kettlebell up. Same thing goes for regular kettlebell swings. Okay, so that's the one-arm swing. The next thing we want to progress into is what we call DARC Swings, D-A-R-C. Okay, so that is just where we take the kettlebell one-arm swing, but now we're exchanging arms in midair. So we're going back and forth, back and forth. The exchange occurs at eye level or where the kettlebell is parallel to the ground. So that would look something like this. So I'm just meeting both hands together at the top as I reach full hip and knee extension. Okay. All right, so that is the one-arm kettlebell swing, DARC swing, so exchanging. And we do that because if we do one-arm snatches, right, but we're doing, say the programming calls for alternating one-arm snatch, or alternating, to be more specific, swing snatch, we want to be able to exchange the kettlebell, all right? So now, to get into the progression of getting the kettlebell overhead, we start doing the one-arm swing, but we start doing what I call the pull-push, all right? So it'll look something like this. I get into my one-arm swing position, right, and we're knocking those out, but now I'm pulling it into my body, punching it out. Pulling in, punching out, right? And I could progress a little higher and higher. So all I'm doing here is bringing my elbow in and then punching it back out. Okay, why do we do that? When you do one-arm snatches, you're not creating a big arc with the kettlebell and letting it flip over here, all right? In order to get the kettlebell from here to come over the hand and get into that position, right, we want to pull it in, and then you actually kind of punch it up. And that's how you get into that overhead position. So we want to train that pull, punch, until you get enough speed and good mechanics to where you pull, punch it right up, all right? So to get into the full one-arm snatch, it will look something like this. Right? One arm swing. Pull, punch. Right, I'm getting a little higher. Now I'm going for it. Pull, punch. Right overhead. Okay. Now, to bring the kettlebell back down, you don't just let it fall and drop. You bring it back down into what I like to call the home position. All right, this would look like something like this. And then I drop it back down to the hole. Boom. Pull, punch. Home, hole, pull, punch. Home, hole, pull, punch. Okay? Down, right? So again, one arm swings, pull, punch, and then overhead. All right? Now, one of the common faults we'll see with people and beginners is they'll stall on the pull, punch, and the kettlebell will flip over and hit them hard in the wrist. All right, so it'll look something like this, right? And if you see me cringe, right, you know I'm doing it wrong, right? You know the snatches, if if you see people cringe, they just did it wrong. So look like this, right there, right? Okay, so they're like, yeah, I got the kettlebell overhead, but now it's got to get in that position. They let it fall like that. So there's a transfer that occurs on that pull punch where the kettlebell will roll over and then get into that wrist position. Okay, so when you get into that position, it should be just a smooth rollover. So as you pull punch, the kettlebell starts to flip a little more, and then it just rolls over. Okay, you don't want to get into that position overhead and then let the kettlebell flip and then crush your wrist. So again, we want it to look like this. Boom, just rolls right over. Home, hole. Now, if the program calls for alternating one arm snatch, I'm going to come here, and then I drop into the hole. I'm going to do that DARC swing. Exchange. There I go. Home, hole, DARC swing. Boom. Home, hole, DARC swing. Overhead. Okay, one arm snatch. Okay, so that's our one arm snatch progressions. Practice those, work on those with a light kettlebell, and then progress to a heavier one as you go on. Next week, we'll add some more kettlebell drills and skills. Till next week, see you later.